Welcome.
Welcome to the Nested Sequence podcast, where we talk about.
Drops the name. What if we move the?
We're not going to change
the
names.
name.
We're not changing names. That's the Sequence is goated.
Well, now we can't because we're locked in because you said it in the first 30 seconds.
That's true.
Look, we didn't even make it to 30 seconds in. This guy's insane.
We're calling it Nested Sequence. We're not going to change it. Okay, we're going to commit to this.
Okay, what's going on?
Are
you about to read off your phone right now?
I'm going to read off my phone. I'm trying to do an intro for the first time.
Sorry, I'm
this
bothering
is like
you.
the first episode, so I want people to see what we're all about. Try this again here. Take two.
Okay, I'll just monitor the audio.
Here we go. Welcome to the Nested Sequence podcast, where we talk about the ups and downs from our creative freelancing careers, as well as life updates and a sprinkle of some skateboarding. I'm Ryan. This is my co-host Spencer. Welcome. How's life?
What up?
How's life? How's it going?
Man. We had a 6-degree day.
Super nice.
Mental health is, 65%. That's all I can ask for.
I've been saving this story because there's something that happened to me this week. And with the tone of this being about the ups and downs of our careers.
Is this a down or an up?
It's kind of a down.
Oh.
And I think it would be very interesting to kind of talk about, talk through.
I'm here for it.
There's a project I've been working on probably for like the past 6 months to a year that I've been very passionate about. And I got an email saying that they're trying to go a different direction.
From this is give me more context. It's a video project, and they're just like, hey Ryan, we love what you did, but we're actually gonna go northeast, and you've been going southwest.
Pretty much. So it was a project that I was in charge of directing and editing. And it was multiple projects of it. So
Okay.
I've done 2, and things were great. And then I shot the next 2, and we're trying to get into editing of those 2. And then I got an email saying just the chemistry with all the moving pieces that's been happening with this project and all the different people involved with it, we just couldn't find ourselves to align to be able to move forward. So it's been a tough one to kind of deal with. And it's been the problem with this is that there was a lot of rocky stuff that was happening within the other companies that were involved with it. And I always got the short end of the stick of it. So I think they were just trying to look for a change up, and I was an easy out to be let's just mix it up from this point of view. Because this is a project where I was dealing with a production company who was dealing with an agency and then went up to the client. And I was even though I was doing the creative, the production, the thing, there was a lot of people above me,
making
a lot
decisions.
of chefs in the kitchens, a lot of people fired and moved around, and I was working with 3 different creative directors at one point within the last 3 months. So there was just it was such a roller coaster. It was not an easy one to get through. And I knew something like this was happening because I remember I was filming this late last year, and I'm just I'm ready to edit. Let's go. Can I start?
Yeah.
Just hold off.
Right.
And here I am. I got an email from the production company that was very well crafted, and they really did have my back, and they reassured me that it was no offense taken, it's not supposed to be personal, really just as business. But I think this is my first time in my career where it's I was so passionate about this project and the work that I was doing, to then just kind of have that taken from me, where I personally don't think I did something directly to be ruin my reputation in the whole process of we don't want to work with him again because he did X, or he did Y, or he did Z. So
it sounds in this vague roundabout story that is true. If they have your back in the email, it might just be there's a lot of moving parts in in their agency and on their side of things, that they're just we need some sort of environmental change that's happening on this platform, and starting from a fresh foot, and literally could not be any problems with you. It's just that
and I'm happy that this kind of happened at the top of the year like this, because I like to consider myself somewhat of a spiritual person, in the sense of the universe will work in the ways that it's supposed to work. And with happening off the top of the year, with a lot of other kind of changes that's been happening in my life, and like this being like another significant one. It's just like I think this year for me is supposed to be about like a mix up, a change of pace, a change of routine. And although right now it is like it's tough, it's like it's kind of tender to take because of like the heart that I had in it. I just like I'm thankful that my mind only lived in that space for a little bit, and I've kind of gotten over it in the sense of like it's business. Like it happens. I'm still confident in my abilities of what I do, and I know that like not everybody can always get along with everyone else, especially in a project that has like me and my crew doing what we do, but then we also go up to a production company, to an agency, to the client. That's a lot of people involved.
Big time.
And something that like it's not like we're doing like major commercials.
Yeah.
Like we're telling like cool stories, and like we're making cool projects and like videos, but it's like it just seems like the scope is like way too far for like what we're actually making. Nothing for me to say or to judge, but it's just been an interesting thing to navigate within like this past week, and just figure it'd be something interesting to talk about because I don't know, we've wanted to do this podcast. I'm glad we are. I don't want to be a podcast that just always talks about like the ups and being like, look at us, like we're better creatives than you or whatever. This is things this is things that like happen. Like
this is I like that outlook of just kind of like the closing and opening doors. This week in therapy, it's kind of funny that I'm like seeing how it links, because I kind of challenged her on it when she brought it up, but she was like, there's a lot of things in your life that seems like you're trying to find an expansive space and to let yourself be expansive, and basically what that means is like be who you are. And what is happening in your life right now is like constrictive, and you're trying to like go through this change that's like letting through things that are constricting you and try to step into this like more expansive space. And I was just like, this seems so heady, like I don't really understand what you're saying. Like I kind of do, like you're supposed to seek on comfort, yada yada yada, but I'm like, I don't really understand how that applies to like direct like work stuff sometimes. But as you're saying this, I'm like, oh, I kind of can draw parallels of like in both sides. It might even be happening where like they're kind of constricting your creativity and your management and your project like investment, and not letting you be invested because they're just like switching people and doing the thing and having like changes of heart and like every switch of direction. And you're just like, what is happening right now? Like you're blocking me. You're throwing up all these red flags, and I can't get to the finish line. So they're kind of like restricting you to actually be the expansive version of yourself, to like have the passion about the project and the work that you're doing. And it, in a universe sense of like, yeah, if they want to close that door, it's like, cool, they were constricting you anyways. So it's like,
I appreciate you saying that, and I think you do know a bit of backstory of this project specifically, which is why you're touching on that. And I'm going to add on to that. You were 100% right. I love this project like a lot, but if you get down to the day-to-days of this project, I wasn't really being creative because there were so many people involved. Like the paper edits were like all the creative decisions in a sense were making for me.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like they would send me a document being like, use this soundbite from this second, like minute second frame to this minute second frame.
Yeah.
And then this soundbite. Like they're in charge of the story. I was just kind of just like a robot, just like putting it into a timeline. I wasn't making those creative decisions. So although I loved filming it, I loved directing it, I loved like being in that environment, by the time it got into editing, which was the longer and more like hardcore part of the project because of this type of situation I was in with all these companies and the process of how we wanted to go through post-production, I wasn't really gaining anything creatively through it, which is why I appreciate you saying that, because it's like, yeah, like I kind of take it personally because how can you not? And I am kind of over that hump of like, I know it's for the best, like we can move forward from this. But you saying, being like, they were kind of hindering me creatively anyways. So what, like that kind of helps me care less in the sense, because it's just like it makes the sting less, because it wasn't like they took all the creativity away from me by letting me go and whatever that means. Yeah, it was like realistically that process was not that fun. Just the overall vision of like what the project was where I was very passionate about.
Yeah. The idea is like kind of more fun and seems more exciting than actually like the work that gets handed
and the
to you.
day to day to actually like get it done, and like how long that actually takes because of how many chefs are in the kitchen and that whole process. And like I work a lot in like corporate like video production stuff and like corporate and brand, and I understand how that goes, but there's still like a spectrum of that, of like there's a certain number of people or chefs in the kitchen that does help the efficiency of getting through post-production.
Yeah.
As you up those chefs in the kitchen, you are expanding that time of efficiency like tenfold.
Definitely. Yeah. That's why all work is hard, period.
Yeah.
Unless you work for yourself, in which case it happens in reverse, and it's still hard as hell. But yeah. What else is on your notepad over there?
It was just that. It was just the intro. I just wanted to have like a nice clean intro getting into just that first part of me just being like, here's something that I haven't told you yet, and we can just kind of like talk about it live.
So how are you feeling about it currently? Like you've definitely had time to process and digest.
If I can be honest, that happened this morning.
Oh my God. So
what day is it? Friday? Maybe it was yesterday morning.
So not that much time.
Maybe I've had like a day, maybe like 2 days to deal with it.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to have people around me that has supported me through it. Like I've talked to my girlfriend about it, and she talked me through it, which is amazing.
Dope. Go Violet.
Go Violet. And I'm pretty good at like thinking it through first, not getting so emotional right off the bat. It also did help that this email was like very well crafted.
Love that.
And very well like from the production company being like, hey, like we know this sucks. Like, it's just, we have to do what's best for our business. Like, Like, we still appreciate everything that you've done. We appreciate your creativity and professionalism. And, like, we still looking forward to working with you in the future. Like, all that kind of nice stuff.
Cool.
That helps it, like, not sting so much. So that did help me with being, like, not get so butthurt. It was more of just, like, a twinge in the heart to be like, oh, I really love that one.
Yeah.
But it's meant to be. It's meant to be. And it also helps if you have things coming up too. That's something else I was thinking about, being like, if I was like not going to be busy in the next couple of months and was like really banking on that, then it's just like, then it gets really scary. But now it's just like, okay, like it's meant to be, like I'm supposed to get off of that path to grow, and I have things to look forward to. So you got to just like keep on moving forward.
Sorry, my brain like went into like, it would be so crazy if we just like kept all our life events secret from each other and then just put a camera in front of us and was just like, all right.
We should do that. We should do that eventually with this podcast. Like if we try and do this like once a week or once every 2 weeks, just don't ever call me to be like, what's going on? Have this set up. I come over, we just sit down and just like record and being like,
so my
what's
foot's
been
broken.
going on?
And I haven't told you.
Yeah. Where else should we go with this? Let's talk a little bit about gear here, because you posted a YouTube video today talking about some gear in your C70. I think gear in general is I think we have some cool perspectives on it, because we talk a lot about optics.
Yeah, but
of all that stuff.
Gear sucks too at the same time, and I feel like we also talk about that.
Beer socks? What did you? I didn't hear you right.
How gear sucks.
Oh, how gear sucks. Correct.
Yeah.
So let me start this off though with gear, because there's some exciting things with me in gear. Is that I might be purchasing the Osmo Pocket 3.
Oh yeah.
On Saturday. And after watching your YouTube video today talking about gear and being like you said that your dad had a really good quote saying like, are you bleeding?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, are you bleeding? Do you really need this gear?
Yeah.
And that kind of did have me take a step back from being like, ooh, do I really need this? But then I worked through that, being like, I really feel like I do, because what I want to do with that piece of equipment will value me, or not value me, will help me with what I'm trying to do with my own YouTube channel, with like my own branding and stuff. Specifically with like the value that this gear gives me. The Osmo Pocket 3 creator combo comes with like a little tripod stand for like the gimbal camera that it is. It comes with the wireless mic.
Should we mount it on Winston or what?
That would be sick. That'd be super cool. And him film skateboarding. So what I want to do with this, though, is kind of utilize this as like a behind-the-scenes camera for me with my upcoming shoots that I have.
Yeah.
It'll be so easy, especially because it has that like little tripod. I'm on a shoot. I'm directing.
Yeah.
And I can mic myself up. I can put it on a table somewhere, point it at me.
Yeah.
It says it has active track 6.0.
Oh, that's sick.
So it's like now I don't have to think about it.
No,
now it's just like I'm there, and
you
then
draw,
like
a little circle around
I'm
you.
not getting distracted from what I'm there to do, as like for the client. I now can easily get myself behind the scenes content, as well as it actually fits in your pocket, so I can get easy like vlog stuff, like day in the life stuff.
Yeah.
I think it makes so much sense for me to do that because I am looking at that as an investment for myself.
Yeah.
For the content that I want to make for myself. When I'm on shoots, surely it might even be like a wicked C camera. Because I film a lot with cars, sometimes there's very like hard places to get into and film.
Yeah.
It could just be a good tool to be like, I can get in there with my C200.
Yeah.
The camera specs that are on the Osmo Pocket 3 are pretty good, especially in terms of low light, in terms of depth of field, autofocus, like all that kind of stuff where I can still capture that footage in that specific scenario and it can still work in whatever edit that it will be.
True. That does make sense for you. And that, like, in that video that I posted today, that's kind of what it was, like, kind of talking about. To be like, there's just so much gear that gets, like, thrown at our eyeballs that...
Oh, it looks so pretty. I want that. Yeah. Okay, but, like, on a day-to-day, really break it down and see, like how will that fit within whatever cages you have on the tripod? Will it fit on a gimbal you have? Like, anything like that. Does it really fit into your production workflow, or do you like it because it's shiny?
Yeah. Or will you use it 4 times and then get over it? Which, like, has happened to me multiple times. Where I'm like, this is cool. I could utilize it. And then I don't.
And for some price tags, it's okay to.
Yeah.
But if you're spending like thousands and using it 4 times, then you look at that ROI and you're like,
which happens for camera gear. Like a lot of it's super overpriced. Well, super like, it's just super expensive. Might not be overpriced. It's just super expensive gear to like have lying around and doing nothing with. All right, what was the highlight like of your week, other than getting your foot scraped off by?
Yeah, and I don't want to go into that.
What are foot doctors called? Orthopedic surgeon, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't want to put that on the internet. It's just 20 minutes of us being like orthopedic.
To answer your question, the highlight of my week was I started recording some YouTube videos for myself. Something I've been wanting to do. We've had this conversation for so many years, Spencer, and I finally did. I know. And there's a lot of variables that took place to make me get there, which I did talk about in the videos, which I would hope would be live by now because that's where we're recording this podcast after I did those videos. Something that I did want to give a kudos to Spencer, though, for is that he's always been like my biggest cheerleader for actually doing it. And one of the things you've told me about, which I kind of forgot to like give you like your flowers for when I was recording the video, was you saying, okay, like, yeah, you want to do YouTube, but like you always hold it off. Would you still want to be doing YouTube in 10 years? If so, just start YouTube, because then in 10 years, you'd be like, what? Why? Yeah. If like you started in 10 years and been wanting to do it for 10 years, you could have been like, and I'm probably not explaining that right, but I hope you kind of remember that soundbite that you gave me. Yeah. It's probably a couple years ago where you said that. And maybe that was something to like, you said that to re-spark yourself to get back into it again, because maybe you had a lull and then you kind of, it just clicked for you and you're just like, what am I doing? And then you just kind of like really went for it.
Yeah. I consistently have that thought for sure. But I think definitely the thing that I have repeat a lot to a lot of different people for their stuff, and for you last time we were speaking about it, it's just like kind of the same notion of like, if you think you're always going to want to do it, or if you have, but it's the thing that I keep repeating people is like, if it's something that you can't not do, because then it's this thing that's like, sometimes it's in your head and sometimes it's far away and comes back and like, yeah, I should do that. And then it falls away. And then it's just like, I think that's just, it's telling you that it wants to come out.
And that's exactly what happened to me, and exactly what I pointed out in the video was like, there's times where I get sparked to do it, and then right away the voice in my head says like, yeah, but does YouTube need another filmmaking YouTuber?
Yeah.
Like, do we? Does YouTube really need another
like,
one? And then like I have other really close friends I've had this conversation about, and they're just like, they were response being like, yeah, but no one is you, and no one has your experiences, which is a great answer, but that never gave me like the go get him, Tiger mentality. Be like, yeah, you're right. I'll just go for it now, because I'm like, I'm not that special. You're right. No one is me. No one's also you. No one's also you. Like, who am I?
Yeah.
So that one never really pushed me over the edge, but I think that's still existing, as well as your comment still existing, as well as more thoughts in the back of my head still existing, as well as just kind of some creative lulls that have been happening in my life. Of I feel like I've gotten really good at what I do, where now it's just work, now it's just a job, and I'm not being challenged, creatively challenged anymore.
Yeah,
and that kind of scares me, where it just like now I can look at now I look at new gear being like, I don't need to touch that, like I don't want to, like I kind of get scared by it, but I need to lean into that. I'm tired of kind of leaning away from that, because it's not in my niche of what I do. Like I want to be creatively challenged again, and just putting myself in those uncomfortable positions and like all those higher level thinking sound bites to just kind of push you over to the edge. I think it just, I don't know, everything just kind of clicked at once for me. That's right. Everything just kind of clicked all at once for me, where I'm just like, I'm just going for it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about numbers. I don't care about what people think, which luckily for me, I've always had that mentality where like, I really don't care what people think. It's never like I stopped this from being judged. It was just like, I never really got the full passion to really just talk about myself, because my passion always lied in like, what's the strategy of this project that we're working on, and how can I help achieve your goal? Like that's where my passion lied, was always outwards, versus like just being like, look at me, I know what I'm doing. But I think now I'm just trying to do that and again, I said this in my intro video, I'm making the channel as a diary from my memory and experiences, as well as a place where like I can just go out and shoot some type of like montage story, like something that if I have an idea, a creative idea, I can just do it for myself. And just to do it for yourself. And sure, it's going to get 7 views. I don't care. Yeah. Because I can look back and be like, okay, I did that. Like, I got that creative energy and like that thought actually out, and put in the effort to make that happen. Yeah. Versus just being like, oh, that'd be cool to do.
That's like more so what it's about. It's just like, because it's just going to keep swirling around.
I know. And that's what it has been doing. And that's why I'm like, it's reached that point for me where like, I do need to get it out. And that like, that's exactly it. Like that was me. That was literally me for the past couple of years, is that like all these ideas, and I'm just like, but I just care about my business and making the money of what I do, what my craft is, like what I like to do, which is help other people in their creative solutions, not mine.
Which is still totally fine.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing to continue thinking is like, even now, like it's hard not to get scooped up in the algorithm, because we're all watching TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube, but it's like, when you really break it down, when you're putting pieces of content out there, like we're all seeing the most viral things on all of these platforms. But if you put something into the ether, like chances are that no one's going to see it for like a long time. And like maybe 2 years from now it goes viral. Maybe it goes viral immediately, but like there's a good chance that like nobody sees it. But the greater payoff is like, now it's not swirling around in your brain.
100%.
And you can just be like, cool, great. Now my brain can focus on other things. Oh, I have another idea. Now I want to go do that. And it's just like all of those things are just going to benefit you to be like, oh, now I know how to do that. I've done that before. Now I can actually use this in my real world job.
100%. You hit the nail. You hit the hammer on the nail. Right? Is that the saying?
I've been known to hit a couple of hammers with nails.
Maybe we can stay on YouTube for a second, just because I'm sure you have your own story on YouTube, and talking about making videos for yourself, putting it out, not caring about the algorithm, maybe caring about the algorithm, wanting something to hit. It doesn't hit. Has there ever been a situation where it's like you look back a year or 2 years later and you're just like, whoa, this video now has like thousands of views?
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
That's happened to me for sure. I think that's like pretty much all the videos on my channel that are like more than 100 views that are just like, they kind of like go out, they like flatline, and then I'll
Yeah.
look back and I'm like, whoa, that video is like doing crazy well, and it's like crossing 100,000 views or something.
What was that? I think the first one where I saw that looking back on your page, where I think maybe you still had like 1,500 subscribers or like 2,000 subscribers. You made like the Super 8s pack.
Oh yeah, that
And
one
it just
picked up.
like, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
like normal. You posted it, okay, normal numbers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's probably something happened, and they're just being like, oh, you got like thousands and thousands and
Yeah,
thousands. Where it's
just
just like,
the
okay, there you go.
algorithm. The algorithm for sure.
And then you had one recently too, the dad cam one, right?
Yeah, the dad cam one definitely pushed me from like where I was to over 10K on YouTube, which was cool. So go watch that video.
Hell yeah, that's a good one. I'm in it. There's some skateboarding in it. A really good storytelling by Spencer in it. It is a great video for sure.
The biggest thing that I like try to remember, not that it's like this crazy big philosophical lesson, but the guy that I work for, Matt, always used to be like, when he like, he has millions of subscribers, but he's just like, when you're creating for like 1,000 people or a group of people, and then when you get bigger, just start creating for one person. And I always thought that was kind of helpful to be like, okay, so at the beginning you are kind of like trying to not create for the masses, but create for a niche. And then when you start getting this trajectory, now just start creating, like just speaking to the one person in that niche, or like,
I like that.
or whatever one you want. Because at that point, like, I also still kind of look at it as like, any big time celebrity that like makes it, pick and choose who your favorite person is, but like they don't immediately are in fashion. They have shoes, they like have a record label, they have this. They were like doing one thing for so long until they got the best at it, and then they were like, okay, now I'm gonna have a shoe label, I'm gonna have a fashion thing, because they have an audience to diversify, and they have now the skills because they're at the top of their game. And like I kind of try to sort of think about that, although like my brain hates it, because I'm just like, there's so many things that I want to make, because I want to make films, but yeah, I want to also follow the algorithm. And like it would be if I was still doing like the Super 8, hitting the algorithm, like making free preset packs and like just targeting editors, I would be way further ahead from where I am. But I'm like, sometimes I just want to make a film about a voice memo that was on my phone, and that's not for anybody except for me, kind of, and like 5 other people that were like, cool, great, and that's it. That's the whole outcome of the video.
And even though those numbers are low, telling that story that's passionate to you, even though it reaches like, those low numbers, can hit even harder or more harder than you think, than just giving freebies to editors, and they're just like, oh, sick. That doesn't hit hard. It's like, oh, true, this is sick, but that doesn't like hit hard and can't like,
that's true,
change them or whatever. So it's also the weird mindset that obviously that YouTube is, or social media is that you want to go for the numbers versus just like, but what if it just hits like one person so hard that they change their life for the better in whatever context that means to them, whether that gets relayed back to you or not, doesn't matter. Like that, it's still worth it. It's still worth doing that then, because it was always for you to do, but it still did hit at least one person.
Do you think social media would be the same if there was no numbers? Like Instagram.
Didn't Instagram try that at one point? And they kind of did, and maybe they did it so smoothly, or this just happened too long ago and we're old now. But I remember there being so much buzz like a couple of years ago, where being like, they're taking away like all the likes on like the posts and stuff. So every time you see a post, you can like hide it or whatever that was. And people were freaking out, because that's also on the uprise of what it was to be a content creator, to get brand deals, how that business worked. Right. So I think that's why people got scared.
We get so sussed in Canada for brand deals. My God.
I have no experience with that, but I'm sure you do. Now that your YouTube has kind of popped off, is there any stories you want to elaborate?
Well, no, just specifically on the smaller platforms. YouTube, we're still okay, but like TikTok, because we don't have access to creator funds here, like in
States,
the States, or any, I won't say any other country, but like you could just have good TikTok views and followers and be making money from it. But like for somebody like me, I can't, because I live in Canada. I'm like, that's kind of whack.
That is
But,
whack.
yeah, it's such an interesting concept to be like, would you still be making stuff? And I guess it still goes back to where we kind of started from speaking about your channel.
Yeah, just the why. Like, it depends why you're making it. I'm sure there will still be a social media. I think it probably would even be better because it would kind of remind everybody of the early Facebook and early Instagram days where it was like you were just following friends. You're being like, oh, cool, you're up to that. Like, it's way more authentic because you're right. All the content you see now is for some type of, like, for most of the time.
It's targeted.
It's targeted. It's for like monetization in some sense of like, yeah, there might be a good creator who's giving you value for free, but more likely than not, it's still to like link you to a link tree and like buy my products or like Amazon codes or whatever, like whatever that is, which is still okay. Like, it's not throwing any shade at that. I think it's just more to answer your question of like, if there was no likes or anything like that, I think it would go back down to that platform would now just be another creative outlet. And that's like what it's purposely meant for. But will it do well? That's what it is. Because people wouldn't join it just for, I want to see creative outlets. It's just being like, oh, cool. Like, now maybe this does feel like Instagram 2010, where it is just like, I can just follow my friend and see what they're up to today.
Did you ever download BeReal?
I did.
That's basically BeReal.
I downloaded it. I used it for 2 days. The first day that I downloaded it was on one of my clients' company retreats that they had like on Toronto Island. I remember being on the boat and talking with like the other workers of that agency, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like check this out. Like do this today." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "Sure, I'll like," and it was still like kind of when it was early, so I'm like, "Oh, this is the next thing. Like, why not get on it early?" And after 2 days, it just like maybe it just hit me at the wrong time. Where I'm just like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. Yeah, I just deleted it.
It's like, take a photo right now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
rather not.
99% of the time, I'm just on the toilet. So why are you trying to hit me then? I'm just doing nothing, hanging out with my living room, and that's just going to be my life for the next year? That's crazy. Yeah, if you made it this far, we appreciate you. We love you. Text us when you get home so we know that you got home safe.
And after you text us, text your mother to say that you got home safe.
Yeah, actually, just text your mom.
Just text your mom saying that
or just make it a group chat between all of us.
Our numbers will be linked in the bio. Text your mom, add us to it. We hope you get home safe, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Bye.
Bye now.
That was so creepy.